game. Let's talk about Ohio State and Oregon and how it played out.
I wanted to. I watched it
Boy, oh boy.
for 4 hours.
We talked yesterday with Paul LeMaurice from Cleveland, Cleveland.com. And we really took an Ohio State slant on this because he covers Ohio State on a regular basis. And we asked him yesterday if Ohio State should be a 7-point underdog, which they were going into this game. And he basically said to us, you know what? People continue to underestimate Ohio State. Maybe it's because they're playing with a third-string quarterback. Maybe it's because everybody falls in love with the Heisman Trophy winner, Mariota. Maybe it's because everybody falls in love with the speed.
Mariota, with Mariota.
The speed of Oregon. But Ohio State, they had men on the lines. They had men on the offensive and defensive lines. And surprisingly, nobody thinks of the Big Ten in this manner. They had speed that could match Oregon's. And boy, they matched it last night. And Ezekiel Elliott with over 200 yards rushing, he was brilliant.
Do you remember what I brought up to him? And I said this on Around the Horn, my other show that I do, ESPN. I said it on there, and I said it to you. I said it to our guests from Cleveland yesterday. They average 45 carries, rushes per game. And so I bring up to you now, not to pat myself. Yeah, I'll do it.
Go ahead, Pat. Pat away.
They had 51 rushes. You brought up that Elliott had 200 yards. Jones had another 100 yards or so, close to 100 yards. They had the ball, because my key to what I told your buddy from Cleveland was, if they rush it over 45 times, they will control the tempo, not Oregon. If you look at the time of possession, it was 37 minutes to 22 minutes and a little bit.
Yeah, 37-29 to 22-31.
And how many rushes did they have?
Ohio State ran the ball 61 times for 296 yards. Elliott had 246 of those.
I rest my case.
And they only threw the ball 23 times.
Yeah, I rest my case.
Yeah.
And they ended up, because they had the ball 37 minutes, they ended up like 25 more plays than Oregon. That's how Oregon beats you, is they run 88 plays.
Yeah.
Well, they end up running in the 60s because they didn't have the ball that much. And when they did, they turned it over. They had Mariota threw an interception. They fumbled, got it back a couple of times. Ohio State dominated that game.
Yep.
Just did. And I started on Oregon weeks ago, but you know that it's my final thing. But I thought nobody will stop Oregon. But the more I studied this game, and I said yesterday, and I repeat today, Urban Meyer's a lot better coach than the one on the other sideline. And that's not a real put down on Mark Helfrich, because Urban Meyer's been a lot better coach than most people.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, isn't it time, instead of being on this Nick Saban bandwagon, isn't it time that we all maybe realize that Urban Meyer was phenomenal at Utah and had a Heisman Trophy winner
Undefeated.
there. He was phenomenal at Florida, where he won a couple of national championships.
And had a Heisman Trophy winner
there.
And
had a Heisman Trophy winner there.
I know you.
And now, he won. No, Tim Tebow was a great college quarterback. He sucked as an NFL quarterback, but he was a great college quarterback.
That would mean more to you about Urban Meyer, that he took a quarterback that sucked, according to you, in the pros, even though he won a playoff game here.
And now at Ohio State. And, he did a remarkable job at Ohio State. And everybody will say, well, it's Ohio State. You ought to be able to win every year there. No, that program was down.
Yeah.
That program had lost scholarships, and that program weren't they ineligible for some bowl games?
Yeah,
for
the first year he was there.
Yeah.
He was undefeated, and they couldn't go to a bowl game.
And 2 years later, he's winning a national championship. And not just winning a national championship. He beats Bama and Saban. By the way, he owns Saban. He beats Bama and Saban, and then he beats this great program at Oregon back to back, and Wisconsin before that for the Big Ten championship. Remarkable. Remarkable when you consider what they were just 2 years ago. So this guy is really special.
They have not lost a conference game since he got there.
Yeah.